Well, hello, everybody. Here we are again, number 8 already. Can you believe it?
No,
I'm
it's
Ed Waymel, and this is Nancy Rector. And here we go with video number 8. But it's kind of a recap, right? We're going to kind of go back a little bit about what some of the things we touched on because we feel it's really important, right?
yeah, and I mean, so we went through chemicals last time, or the first set of these were chemicals, but now we're going over the products that have the chemicals in them. And
Yeah.
yeah, and I'm not going to try and pronounce them this time. I'm just going to put them up on the screen there so y'all can see them, and I don't
Yeah.
have tongue
Then you
twister.
could just look at the screen and go, look at your product and go, uh-oh, uh-oh.
Yeah, yeah, and I do have the information in the description for the video, so it's
Yeah.
not big of a deal. The sunscreens, and I think this came up big because um, we found out in our research that sunscreens can cause photosensitivity, and then in deeper research with our product has a natural sunscreen. I've been out in the sun, and by now I should have some color, and I've been using Curative, and I'm not getting much color.
You kind of look like
I
Morticia.
I know, well, it's the lighting, but I'm not a sun worshiper anymore. So but it's really very interesting, and we'll go through some of the challenges with specific chemicals. The typical chemicals are avobenzone, I'm going to say it anyway, homosalate, and octinoxate, and these are commonly used in skincare products to prevent against the UV light, the harmful effect.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of products will say, uh, makes your skin looks soft and supple, and it has a sunscreen. Well, that was never our intention, but we just ended up with things that naturally keep the sun from damaging your skin.
Yeah.
And so, you know,
It's interesting. So you made me think of something. I saying that I was pale. I sit in front of computers all the time, and if I could just get some color from that blue light, but nah, that blue light
yeah, it's got to be that,
problems. So
yeah,
anyway, so what the first thing it does, it's skin irritation, right? And it's like a hypersensitization. Once you get yourself sensitized to this, it's just not gonna get better. And it's the itching, burning sensation, swelling, rash. And it's the oxybenzone, octocrylene, and avobenzone that do this. And it's just not helpful. You've got the hormonal disruption. Octinoxate has been found to mimic hormones in the body, particularly estrogen. Well, guys, you don't want to have extra estrogen. And
hell no.
yeah, and
Especially when you get older like me and you're having a testosterone going down anyway. You don't want to have more of that stuff, or you're going to get them
yes.
man boobies.
Well, so
But why do you think they let this stuff in products to people? Does the government just not care?
you
I
know,
mean,
I mean, in the information on the YouTube site, I have the articles about this, and there are peer review articles about it, and
so it's well known, and
well,
yet,
it's observed. Again, people are so used to seeing chemical names and hearing side effects from these pharmaceutical ads on cable, you kind of become blind to it, right? Or deaf.
well, and maybe it's also just because human nature, the human mind, if it hears something over and over again, it just believes it's true, right? If they tell you it's good for blocking sunscreen, then it must be because they told me. And that applies to so many things,
But it
especially
does,
nowadays.
but
Yeah.
it does, I mean, it does what they say it does. They don't tell you about what else it does, but it also causes phototoxicity and photosensitivity. While I mean, there are certain antibiotics, like I think azithromycin, it says on there, stay out of the sun. It's going to cause
Mm.
photosensitivity. Well, they don't tell you to stay out of the sun, but it
Well, they
increases
shouldn't. It's supposed to
skin
be sunscreen.
sensitivity to
It's supposed to
sunlight.
allow you to be in the sun.
Right.
Do you
Where
think the waterproof ones are
photosensitivity
even worse, maybe?
is what?
You think the waterproof ones are worse, maybe? The waterproof sunscreens? I'm guessing they
Um,
probably are. They probably put like plastic.
I actually, that's a good point, and I will look that up for one of our future ones, the waterproof
Yeah.
nature of sunscreens, because I didn't get into that this time. But I mean, it's the photosensitivity is sort of frightening because if you've got it as a warning on an antibiotic, but you don't have it as a warning on a sunscreen because you are going out into the sun, I'm not sure how that works.
Yeah,
Potential carcinogen. And I mean, that is alone a reason for me to stay away. Octocrylene has been found to generate free radicals when exposed to sunlight and may damage DNA and increase risk of skin cancer. Additionally, there's ongoing debate about the safety of other chemicals, such as oxybenzone and octinoxate, with some studies suggesting a possible link to cancer development. So you're using a sunscreen, this is like the photosensitivity part, right? You're using a sunscreen because you're going out in the sun, and now the sunscreen is increasing your chances of skin cancer.
so
Again,
I
I don't
wonder.
know how that's rationalized, but and I'm not a proponent of government control. So
Yeah, I know.
I
So
just
that's
that's
why,
why we're educating people to
yeah.
make decisions on your own. We don't need the government to say what we can and can't do, although for some things, okay. But this is your
But it would be nice if
personal.
they would keep bad stuff away. I mean, something that's obvious, like certain things that's some certain weed killer that's been, losing
Uh,
lawsuits and they still let him sell it. And it causes cancer all over the place every day.
but people need to be educated. They need to educate themselves, which is
Yeah.
why we're doing this.
Yeah.
We're doing this to educate people.
Now, uh,
This yeah.
one more thing. I was just thinking, you know, sunscreen, I mean, you need to have some UV light, infrared, to make vitamin D. So what happens when you block that?
Well, yeah, I mentioned that last time that when you use sunscreen, you're not going to get any vitamin D. It doesn't happen. You got to get it
Yeah.
away. And that's why 20 minutes, I think the literature says about 20 minutes every day on bare skin is enough to give you your vitamin D for the day, which is fine.
Yeah.
You're going to get a sunburn in 20 minutes.
If you can't get that, take a D3 supplement,
Yeah,
D3
yeah.
K2,
I mean,
right?
that's
Yeah.
yeah. I do that because blue light doesn't give me
I do
that.
too. Because I can never guarantee I'm going to be outside. I never know, you know.
I like I never I only on the motorcycle. So this last
Mhm.
piece I think is most important. Environmental impact. And this chemical sunscreens pose risk to marine ecosystems, coral reefs in particular. Um, oxybenzone and octinoxate, when washed off the skin into the ocean, they contribute to coral bleaching and disrupt coral reproduction, consequently harming beautiful marine life. Now some jurisdictions are banning or restricting use of certain chemical sunscreens. It's just practicing sun safety, wearing protective clothing, hanging out in the shade, avoiding peak sun hours, and using curative. And I think
Right.
it has aloe in it, right?
Well, the
Now
peak
that you,
sun hours, now let's get that clear for people. 10 and 2, right? Between 10 and 2,
yeah,
don't go out.
yeah, well,
Before and
stay in the
after,
shade.
I usually play it safe and after 3 o'clock in the afternoon, because by then, in the peak high summer and even in South Florida, yeah, after 3, you're gonna have to still be careful. But in the rest of the world here, in the Midwest and Middle America, I think after 3, you're pretty safe.
Yeah, after
But just
2. I mean, it
just
depends on
watch.
your
I
skin
mean,
too.
here's
Like
another hot tip
you,
secret. Just take your finger and go like this. And if you see a little red, if it turns white when you punch it, get out. You've had enough. But it's kind of pink. That's it.
you just have
You're
to be,
done.
yeah.
Like
I
a
mean, for
pop-up
some
thing
people
for a
that doesn't
turkey.
work. For some people that doesn't work, but we just have to be smart. And like I'm really
Yeah.
fair skinned, so I will go out after 2 or 3. Sometimes we don't get on the bike that often in the peak hours. But the last time we did, and I didn't get any blasted sun because I used the Curative everywhere I used it. Zero sun, zero sunburn, a little bit of color on my arms, but certainly not on my face.
And where can you get Curative? Nature-Derm.net.
That's right. Yeah, you can order it. Right now we have a special going on for the set. We're 25%.
What's that?
Our
It's 25% off, right?
yeah, it's the intense event Curative. One of the things that I didn't get to talk to you about ahead of time, the jobs report came out today.
Mhm.
Government report, and unemployment's up. And I'm going to ask you to think about doing a 50% off for a very short amount of time for those people that right now that are negatively impacted
I
by.
think we could do that.
You think
'Cause I
we
mean,
can do
it's
that?
tough for everybody. I think we can do that.
I just had a really close friend of mine come over today, and he said, and he's a landscaper, and he loves our stuff. He goes, Nancy, he said, people aren't doing landscaping right now. And I said,
Yeah.
He goes, I love Curative. And I said, okay, if I do a 50% off, are you good? He's like, yeah, I'll do that.
It'll be our
So,
contribution to surviving this time.
inflation, right? I mean, well, inflation, we'll do it for a short amount of time. So all you
Yeah.
people out there, let's get on it, get it.
We'll get that.
And
We'll get that in the computer probably, I would say Monday, right? By Monday.
yeah, I
So
could
get in there by Monday and we'll have it all set up for you. 50% off everything.
yeah, and that way we can help everyone get
Mhm.
through this rough economic time of inflation and low jobs, because the jobless report was up. And I'm
Yeah,
not
it's
surprised.
bad.
Yeah.
It's
So we're
sad.
out here to educate
So we don't want to leave on
and
we don't
help.
want to leave on a bummer note, but that should help, we hope. And it's been
Yeah.
great seeing you and talking to you people once again. We'll see you next week, and adios.
Don't forget,
Like and subscribe on our YouTube,
subscribe and like. There we go. We have it up there.
Nature-Derm
And
Inc.
we'll see you next week.
Bye, guys.